You already know you about to take this L.
You know what, Jenny?
Yeah.
I finally decided last night I've won every debate for 2 years, and for once, I'm going to give him a fair chance, like a 50-50 shot. I'm going to level this playing field. I'm not going to bring out my notes just for this topic. From this point on, I'm going to bring them back. So you're going to be in real trouble from this point on.
Oh, you about to go off the dome?
Yeah.
Oh, you in trouble. You in a heap of trouble.
Yeah.
How do you feel about
here
that?
we go.
We got
morning.
it.
How is Shan Jin today? Wait, hold on.
Things are good.
I got to do this over here because I bumped myself first.
Oh,
yeah.
you rolling solo.
Yeah.
Solo. Okay, let's see how Shannon does here. We're going to start with the quarterback situation in Cleveland. Hugh Jackson continues to insist that Tyrod Taylor is the starting quarterback in Cleveland, despite reports that the Browns have been floored by Baker Mayfield's progress. Jackson told MMQB's Albert Breer that he doesn't want to hand the reins of an 0-16 team to a rookie, and he wants to put Mayfield in a situation where he can flourish. Jackson also said that in the last 2 years, he played rookie quarterbacks Cody Kessler and DeShone Kizer, and, quote, that didn't do anybody any good. Shannon, who should start week 1 for the Browns?
I believe it should be Tyrod, but I only believe it should be Tyrod if it's not close. I've said this from day one, Skip. If it's close, neck and neck, 50-50, 55-45, I go with Baker. Had Joe Thomas not retired, I probably would stick Baker in there. The one thing you don't want to have happen, Skip, is to put a young guy in there, especially on an 0-16 team. They've only won one game in the last 2 years, and then have him struggle. Because you can always go start the vet and then go to the rookie. But to bench a rookie and then go to the vet, that does something to the guy's confidence. The only thing I didn't like, Skip, is that he compared Baker to Cody Kessler and DeShone Kizer. One was the first overall pick.
Yeah.
One guy, and both of the other guys were really thought of as projects. So for you to say, well, Baker, you took him with the number 1 overall pick, and then Kizer second round, Kessler, I think, with a third round pick. For me, if you wanted to go, normally what happens, Skip, when you see a team and they take a quarterback overall, they don't normally bring a proven vet in, because if you want to clear the decks, you clear the decks. Matthew Stafford, they cleared the decks for him. Peyton Manning, they cleared the deck for him. That's what they, Cam Newton, this is what they normally do. So this tells me that Hugh Jackson really, really does want to start Tyrod. He wants Tyrod to win this job. Baker Mayfield is not a guy that wants to sit on the bench. He is really, really competitive, and most NFL players are. He might be slightly more because he's had such great success at every level that he's been at. You don't walk on at Texas Tech, win the starting job, walk on at Oklahoma, win the starting job, become a Heisman Trophy winner, and then all of a sudden say, you know what, hey, okay, I'm cool. You want Tyrod to start? Yeah. I'll wait my turn. No, that's not how he's wired. If it's close, Baker Mayfield should be your starting quarterback. But I believe after these 4 preseason games, Tyrod Taylor, who's a proven commodity, he took a team to the playoffs last year that hadn't been to the playoffs in almost 2 decades. That's worth something.
It is. I agree.
Baker and Tyrod, you got 4 preseason games to prove who should be starter opening day.
So, why would Hugh Jackson want Tyrod to start from game 1 this year? Could it be because Hugh Jackson is 1-31 as the head coach of the Cleveland Browns?
Yes.
Could it be because Hugh Jackson has a new boss named John Dorsey, who's in his first full season as the new GM of the Cleveland Browns?
Yes.
Could it be because when the GM didn't pick you, that you can be a little bit in trouble, you can be in limbo, right?
You become a lot more expendable.
Could it be that John Dorsey has been very close to Mike McCarthy, and who knows if Mike McCarthy will make it through this year in Green Bay? It seems like make or break this year for Mike McCarthy. Could it be that a year from now Mike McCarthy would be available to become the new Cleveland Browns coach? It all could be. So does Hugh Jackson need to win, I don't know,
early
4 or 5 total games this year?
No, he needs to win early, Skip.
Okay,
That's
all right.
what he needs to do.
Because if he doesn't, he's going to be out. Yes. I am a Hugh Jackson fan. This is tough for me. I'm a Hugh Jackson fan. I know him and I believe in him as an offensive mind and a quarterback coach.
Yes.
I'm a Tyrod Taylor fan. He has earned my respect, won my respect slowly but surely over time. He's 22-20 as a starter, which is not bad. And as you point out, he did take that team to the playoffs. He didn't play very well in the game at Jacksonville, but But who does play well
Right.
against Jacksonville at Jacksonville, right? They just ugly it up. They make you look bad.
Right.
So did I lose respect? I did not.
Right.
But Baker Mayfield should win this job. I believe he will win this job. I believe they should go forward from game one with Baker Mayfield because his ceiling is just higher than Tyrod's is. That's long term and to me even short term. You can argue Tyrod will be better in the short term because he should be. But listen, Baker Mayfield is something, man. You've been around him.
Oh, yeah, it's exceptional.
The intangibles are off the charts. And you saw that when he went to his pro day at University of Oklahoma, and he said, man, these kids, he's the Pied Piper. People follow Baker Mayfield. The reason that I'm torn about this is they follow Tyrod too.
Right.
In fact, Frank Beamer once told John Dorsey back before that draft of Tyrod that Tyrod was the greatest leader Frank Beamer, who was at Virginia Tech for a long time, had ever been around. Ever been around? Wow. Tyrod Taylor? Okay, so you've got two alphas here. And the irony of this is Hard Knocks starts tonight, so somebody's going to be in for some hard knocks because you got two alphas. And remember, you have to go back in the Cleveland days. I think to Bernie Kosar to say you had a real franchise quarterback that you could trust and depend on, right? You had Vinny a little bit with Belichick, but he sort of bounced around and he wasn't your guy,
and
right?
he had come from Tampa when it was where it was awful.
Okay, so you go back to the Bernie Kosar days. That's the 1980s.
Yes.
So since the 1980s, the Cleveland Browns really haven't had the guy at quarterback, and all of a sudden they have two guys, right? And they're both legit. But the one guy is more legit than this guy as far as your future goes.
Well, you mentioned that you believe that Baker Mayfield's ceiling is a lot higher than Tyrod Taylor, and I can't say I disagree. But I believe him falling on the floor would hurt more than it would Tyrod Taylor because you have to understand he's the first pick in the draft, and psyche is everything. So you want to make sure, and plus, Hughes in a situation, Skip, he needs to win because he wants to be. If he took. And obviously, he believed in Baker Mayfield. So he wants to be around to coach Baker Mayfield. He knows the more he wins with Tyrod, because moving forward, no matter what Tyrod Taylor does, Baker Mayfield's going to be the starting quarterback at some point, either this year or next. We know that no matter what Tyrod does this year, Baker Mayfield is not sitting on the bench again next year. But you do not want to break his confidence. They made that mistake with David Carr. He was never the same. Skip.
Okay, I agree.
He shouldn't have started, but they cleared the decks for him.
Okay, but David Carr's not made of the same stuff Baker Mayfield is. I know his